This tutorial is for exercise 1-39-3 for CAD 241. In this particular exercise, we have a block with two slanted sides and three holes. And the easiest way to approach this is going to be to start by doing a sketch on the front. So I'm going to left click on front and then left click the sketch button. And I'll click sketch again. Now, to make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to display the grid. And as explained in earlier videos, this software is kind of independent of inches and millimeters, so this is actually a 30 by 30 grid, and the object that I have is only 4 inches across, so I'm going to need to zoom in real far to make my life a little bit easier as I attempt to draw this. Next, I'm going to go to line, and I'm just going to draw a... So it appears my computer is frozen up. It should be back up in just a second. Okay, so we've got a horizontal line, a vertical line, angled line. My computer's really struggling today. Another horizontal line, angled line, and then I will close it off. Now, again, to make my life easier, I'm going to go ahead and do some of the things that I already know to be true. That way I don't have to try to figure them out later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and do an equals constraint on this line and this line. I'll say OK to that. And then another equal constraint on this line and this line, and I'll say OK to that. Now, I do have some buttons turned on up here to make my life easy. This one here will automatically shade in any closed profile that it finds, and this button here will highlight any open ends. This is important because you can't extrude, revolve, or do anything really with this object unless it's a closed profile. These dimensions in gray are dimensions that are automatically placed on my object. Those are considered weak dimensions because they're automatically placed. Now, there's two ways that I can get rid of those weak dimensions. I can create new dimensions using the dimension tool, or I can double click on the weak dimension and type in a value. In this case, this one is 4. By typing in that, it goes from gray to yellow. Yellow dimensions are considered strong dimensions simply because they are not driven by anything else. So I can put 1.75 in here for this. The overall height is going to be 2.5. And for this one, just so that I can show you how to create a dimension, I'm not going to modify this one. I'm going to come right up here to the dimension tool, and I'm going to select this point and this point, and then I'm going to middle click. In the case of your mouse, that's clicking on the wheel. Then I can type 1.25, and I accidentally hit enter, so I need to go ahead and just double click this and type 1.25. Now I've got my profile that I can work with, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the checkbox and extrude the object. The distance that it needs to be extruded is 0.25. So there I've got 0.25. I can hit the green checkbox. Now there are many ways to do the holes, but in the best interest of showing you how to do this, I'm going to go ahead and use two separate commands to put the holes in. The first hole I'm going to put in is the big hole in the middle. So I'll click on the hole button, and it's going to ask me which face do I want this to go on, and I want it on the front face. Then I can click placement, click here to select my offset references. Now holding down control, I'm going to left click this edge and this edge. Now there's no dimension given for the horizontal distance, but since the center line of the hole runs the whole way through the object, we can assume that it is symmetrical and that that is 2. This one here is going to be 1.25. The diameter for this particular hole is also 1.25. Its termination is through all. Now that I've got that information in, I can simply hit the green check mark, and there's my hole. I'm going to use the hole command to create the second hole as well. Same process. Left click on the face, click placement, click to select my offset references, which is this edge and the bottom edge. And I can modify this stuff up here and up here, but in most cases I like to modify stuff in the graphics window simply because the information's right there and I can see exactly what it's pointing to rather than trying to figure out what edge F6 offset is. I can just double click it right here and put in the 0.75 for the dimension. Same with this one here, 0.75. The diameter of these holes is also, well, it is 0.5. And rather than do anything with the depth, I'm just going to change this to go through all and then hit the green checkbox. Now here's the other command I'm going to use. Rather than creating and using hole over here again, since my hole is already highlighted, since it was the last thing that I did, I can click on the pattern tool. And in this case, instead of dimension, I'm going to use direction. And the hole disappears, but don't worry, it's actually still there. What I need to do is pick a direction, and I'm going to click on this bottom line because I want it to go in that horizontal direction. The distance between the two is 2.5. Once I have that in there, I could hit the checkbox, and now I have my object with 2 holes and assignment 1-39-3 complete.